the cool shoe shine. All right. And I'm live, and so I need to send out the link. This needs to go away. Stop. Okay, I got this. I've got this. How do I? Oh my god. If I go settings here. Haha. Yes. Amazing. Okay. So it's link get. And now I need to tweet that link from the TweetDeck application. I don't think anybody's watching yet, so I'm just talking to myself. If I go to open a new tab, no, I don't have to open a new tab. It's got apps here. Close this Google Keep tab though. Put this in its own space over here. If anybody's watching, just waiting on Joe. Load TweetDeck right quick. Every day a new challenge. This time that challenge is the way the headphones affect my hair. All right. If I can just tweet, and we're live with PM6. Actually, on AnimeClub.tv. Waiting on Professor Ware and at Gatowag. All right, and now we are live and in Trive. Yes. I can close up TweetDeck. Let's rock some sick tunes, huh? Who wants to hear some musica? First things first on the realists. Let's go to play music. And club.tv. Oh, well, I should be talking. I should be talking this whole time. I am live. Yes. Because their thing is DCTV's on reruns. Oh my God, I'm listening to Brian talk and I cannot talk over Brian. I come from the land of the ice and snow in the midnight. Hammer of the gods. I really should be playing music so that I am not talking to myself. And where the hell is Joe? I need to send Joe a message telling him to join the Hangout, sucker. And hey, viewer, haha, there. Now there's somebody I'm talking to. I'm not just talking to myself because I've been talking to myself this whole time, as if somebody's watching, but nobody has been. So right now I'm just waiting on Joe. It happens, Gatowag. I've done it before. Let me identify myself and tell him to join the thing. Join the Hangout. There we go. So now hopefully we will get Jose in just a moment. And I can hit play on this thing so that there's a... Nope. I think you can hear that, right? You can probably hear that music. I can't hear that music. I hope you can hear that music. Three viewers! I'm showing 3 viewers. We need like a real producer. If anybody wants to do that stuff and not get paid for it. 6 a.m. Day after Christmas. I was kissing Valentina by Philadelphia Street. At least there's more people watching than hosts, Graham. But I can't be late, and I guess I just won't get paid. Smell of cold, car seat is freezing. These are the days when you wish your bed was already made. World sleep. Just another night. Oh, I can turn the music down when I talk. I can probably turn myself up as well. There we go. Haha. Now the music's down and my voice is up, and you can hear me saying that at least there are more viewers than co-hosts right now. I should probably turn myself way up. Came on the train. Wow, this is really quiet. Why is it so quiet? Oh, you know what? Oh, I'm good? I'm good. Okay. Brand says I'm good, so that must mean I'm good. Really should get somebody to actually produce this show, but nobody does it for no money. I wonder why. Where is my co-host? I'm waiting. Waiting on... If you were wondering what this is the live Real View Mirror podcast. If you watched this week's Night Attack, it was the Diamond Time, where Brian was like, "Yeah, I'll totally do your show eventually. Thanks for telling me that I'm doing it." I'm just waiting for my co-host to show up so we can do a podcast. That's important. It's going to be rough because I'm not sure that our topic that we decided on half a week ago is going to be our topic for the night. We might completely change what we planned on doing because it was a pretty loose topic to begin with. So we'll find out if this show is going to be any good tonight.
It's the music that we choose. 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 No, it's the music that we choose.
No, Brant, it is not. It is not enough to hire a full-time producer, especially because we haven't even seen a cent of that 50 cents just yet. Hopefully it'll show up eventually. You know what I should see a cent of is that t-shirt money. Where is my damn t-shirt money, Brant? Yeah. It's funny. We're actually trying to start a new show as well, like a weekly variety show type thing. But that is a show where we really need a producer, and I find that I'm the only one qualified, but I don't have the time, and the only one with the time does not have the desire to do the work. So we're trying to get that show doing done. Yeah, words are hard, aren't they? So I was on a Skype call with Joe right before going live. I don't know where he is.
Get the cool to shine. Get the cool to shine.
Oh, I think he's heating up dinner. I think he's eating really quickly while we wait. So I get to vamp. I get to tell you guys shows coming. The plan right now, or at least the plan as we were starting, was to do something about like perception in media, because that dress thing happened, and we're like, hey, how can we capitalize on that? But I don't know. Might not do that. Get the cool shoe shine. Yes, Brant, colors, how do they work? Boy, I guess that is just how long our lag is. Because I feel like I said that like half an hour ago. Sorry, I am trying to figure out where Jose is.
Laughing gas, these hazmats, fast cats, lining them up like cracks. Ladies, ponies at the track. It's my chocolate little track. Shit, I'm stepping in harder this year. Yeah, beer repping in harder this year. Watch me as I gravitate. Ha 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 ha. Yo, we gon' ghost town, this Motown with your sound. You in the blink, gon' bite the dust and fight with us. With your sound, you kill the ink. So don't stop, get it, until you shed it head and watch the way I navigate. Ha 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 ha.
I shot the secret. I've been hiding under my skin. My heart is human. My blood is boiling. My brain IBM. So if you see me acting strangely, don't be surprised. I'm just a man who needed someone and someone to hide to keep me alive. Just keep me alive.
Down on a camel's back.
We are
Just have to go cause I don't know where. So all you feel the streets disappearing to sea. You won't get on the county cause you're dead and free. You got a new horizon, it's ephemeral star. A melancholy town where we never stop. And all I wanna hear is the message beat. My dreams, they gotta kill me cause I don't get sleep.
Windmill for the land, time forever hand in hand. Take it all out on your stride. It is taking voting now. Love forever, love is free. Time forever, you and me. Windmill, windmill for the land is everybody in.
I am the modern man. Lies behind the mask, so no one else can see my true identity.
Don't stop, shit it, get it. Sleep high, captains in it, steady. Watch me navigate. Don't stop, shit it, get it. Sleep high, captains in it, steady. Watch me navigate.
Woo! All right.
jazz hands.
That was Kuhan Dances.
Kuhan Dances. The hit dance jam of 2015.
That's right. That's right. That's absolutely accurate. So, Joe, you want to run the show today?
I thought you had notes.
Oh boy. Are we gonna do a complete 180 on our topic?
Completely what?
Are we gonna completely change our topic and do something different than we planned?
I mean, if we are, we have to decide now.
I agree. And while you decide, I'm gonna go to sit in the drink. No.
REM is the true spiritual successor to BB Live.
Yeah, pretty much. Except we actually walk in with topics, whereas they did not. Hey guys, you want me to teach you how to do magic tricks? You having any trouble doing the human blockhead?
I can grow a beard, or at least try.
I just shaved today. Otherwise, I would have had
like
enough
3 days ago?
to pull through this.
Yeah. So yeah, you go do your thing. I'll entertain them for now. Yeah.
That is absolutely accurate, Brant. Between the music and the frequent tech breakdown, hell yeah, yeah. Especially because this is pretty much just Brian's playlist. This is definitely a Saturday.
I asked about that earlier.
100% here. I can. Whereas if I. First of all, there's no it would be a front address mic because look at the front. And then this side, you can barely hear anything properly. But this side, see, this is how a voice sounds, and this is garbage. And this, see? Although, apparently I get hella discounts on Rode Procasters. It's still
Yeah, you
over
do.
$100, but... No, I get like
something.
on top of employee discount, it's like I get like a employee accommodation. Brand knows what I'm talking about.
Frickin'.
Yes, Brent, we're definitely talking about media. It's definitely kind of like Chord Killers, but definitely more freeform, and definitely centers around central theme. It probably sounds muddy because of my 4 gigabytes of RAM trying to run this show. It definitely will
Like
sound...
I tell him, just download more RAM, man.
It'll definitely sound better on the actual release track, except for episodes 4 and 5 where I had to pull off the YouTube because the my local recording
Because
sounded like
this is the
garbage.
spiritual successor to the BB Live show, so we have frequent tech breakdowns.
That's accurate. Yes, sir. I ordered RAM on Tuesday. That would get here on Thursday, and apparently there were weather
It
delays
didn't.
in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So instead of Thursday, it will be arriving on Saturday, which is a day after the day that I especially needed it. So
So that worked out well.
we'll see what happens, but hopefully for the next live Real View Mirror in theoretically 2 weeks.
2 to 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it'll sound better. But I actually am going to get something to drink. So I will be back in a moment while Joe talks to
While I
you
piddle.
about
While I piddle.
anything but the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Joe's going to talk to you about the movie They Came Together. And go.
So They Came Together was a film that came out like last year, and it stars Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd of Parks and Recreation fame, along with a crap ton of other people. I mean, freaking Adam Scott is in it, and he shares a scene with John Stamos. It's a really strange film, and the way I would describe it is the sort of film that parodies the film that Kuhan would watch. We actually have taken our clothes off in previous episodes, although that may have been pre-Real View Live, so yeah. Yeah, They Came Together, 2014 American comedy film, actually directed by David Wayne, and also written by Michael Showalter. Kuhan really likes romantic comedies, and one day we were just chilling around on Skype, and we were like, oh hey, Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd did a movie together, this is strange. So we looked further into it, and we found out that it's this strange romantic comedy. It is Patreon exclusive content, Gatawag. And you can be like Brant and Rick Foster and join the Real View Mirror Secret Club, and that's at patreon.com/RealViewMirror. For just $0.25 per episode, that's slightly greater than every 2 weeks, you can join the Real View Mirror Secret Club, and you'll get exclusive content like talking about Spider-Man and shirtless content. So yeah, They Came Together, Paul Rudd, Amy Poehler. It's hate at first sight because he is a big corporate candy man, and she owns a mom and pop candy store. And they just keep running into each other, and it just sort of forces a bunch of really weird romantic comedy. So it actually works out pretty well. It's got a star-studded cast. Paul Rudd as Joel, Amy Poehler as Molly, Kobe Smulders as Tiffany, Christopher Maloney as Roland, who is Joel's boss, Max Greenfield as Jake, Bill Hader's in this film as Kyle.
Did you say
Ellie
Molly?
Kemper.
That's my favorite American Girl doll.
Ellie Kemper is also in this film as Karen. I mentioned that earlier today to you. Is there a site with chat and Real View Mirror in the same window? I have it as DiamondClub.tv right now.
Yeah, I had it working together on DiamondClub.tv. That's what Brant should have put it in on, so I would assume that you just need to refresh.
Yeah, but also, is there anything else streaming right now? Because if there is, it might be
No.
cycling.
No,
through
no,
other
no.
things.
We are the ones that are live.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, Ellie Kemper, Jason Mantzoukas of lots of things like The Dictator, Ed Helms, John Stamos, and Adam Scott I mentioned earlier are sound engineers in the film. and it's really weird because that's actually a meta scene where Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler go into the studio with a bunch of sound engineers, and it says Adam Scott from Parks and Recreation and John Stamos from Hasn't Done Anything for 10 years. So that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan's in this film too. It's just a really weird film. Why haven't you
But
watched
John
it yet?
Stamos was in Glee.
He was at some point, wasn't he?
Yeah. So
Ken Marino's in this film too.
was it written by
Jack
David
McBrayer
Wayne?
of 30 Rock fame. What?
Did David Wayne write it?
Yeah.
That's why Ken Marino's in it.
Yeah. No, I established that.
Oh, okay.
Didn't I?
I was getting a drink. I wasn't here. Whereas Brian drinks alcohol out of a nondescript green cup, I drink non-alcohol out of a Southern Comfort cup.
Guess what I'm drinking?
Are you drinking Coca-Cola?
Yeah, it actually is Coca-Cola.
Ken Marino, you might recognize as what's his name? Oh my God,
The
Vinny
guy
Van
from
Lowe
Party Down
from.
that isn't Adam Scott.
I was gonna say Vinny Van Lowe from Veronica Mars, the male lead on "Marry Me." Other stuff. He was in that Wanderlust with Paul Rudd as well.
Yeah.
Yes, Mac. I could run green screen effects. My green screen, however, I took down because one of my friends complained about it being up.
That was great too, because like he just undid one side and it just flopped over, and he's like, "Well, now it bothers me more."
Yeah. Also, the pins that kept it in the wall I have lying around, so hopefully I won't step on any.
Is this show NSFW? No, that show ended.
Yes, there is swearing and stuff. Mac, maybe he was in Children's Hospital. I have not seen Children's Hospital. I've also watched like 2 or 3 episodes of Newsreaders, but I have not seen Children's Hospital. Does seem like the kind of show he would be in, unless you're thinking of Rob Corddry, who was the star of Children's Hospital, who is definitely not Ken Marino.
David Wayne's actually also acting in this film. I did not realize that. It's a really weird film. I really enjoyed it, but also I enjoy making fun of the sort of films that Kuhan would like. So.
Is Joe Latrulio in it?
He isn't actually. That was really strange to me.
That's surprising. Yeah.
Yeah. Kenan Thompson's in this film.
Somebody from our baseball is apparently watching, or was, told me I need better music, and then said I have a good voice for radio podcast. Also said forget the co-host, talk baseball. So we're going to talk about.
We're going to do a show called Podcast for a Rain Delay.
Hello, everybody,
That's
and
in the
welcome
Padres
to
roster.
this, the 42nd episode of Podcast for a Rain Delay, the Jackie Robinson episode.
Are you guys on 42nd already?
Oh, we're on like 43 or 44. We just need to release a couple of back episodes.
Right, I know you had a backlog. It's just
42
Universally
42
retired
was
number.
the Douglas Adams episode, the Bruce Sutter episode, the Mariano Rivera episode.
Really?
But of course the Jackie Robinson episode. Yeah, no, come on. No, we're not crazy people. 42 has to be the Jackie Robinson episode.
Douglas Adams episode?
Who? What'd you say?
Douglas Adams episode.
I said that.
Did you? I wasn't paying
I did.
attention.
I said it,
About
I said
something
it
else.
now, and I said it in the show.
So I just posted the status on my Facebook that says, "Listen to us talk about the unbreakable Ellie Kemper,"
Sure.
because that's what that show's called. You should talk more about how you're playing something that sounds like it's the Doobie Brothers. And that's from our friend Saint.
He's saying it sounds like the Doobie Brothers
Yeah, I know,
because
right?
this is Kanye.
This is
Like-
something he sent us.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No. But this is Kanye. Like,
I mean, even if it wasn't.
Dennis loves Kanye.
No need to wear the captain's hat.
You can see the captain's hat? I didn't realize the captain's hat was in frame. Or have you just seen a previous episode where Joe wore the captain's hat?
There we are.
18 years, she got one of your kids for 18 years. I know somebody paying child support for one of his kids. His baby mama car crib is bigger than his.
Okay, now Joe's wearing the captain's hat, but he has to talk so you can see. Because you can't see him while I'm talking because of the way that Google Hangouts Live on the Air works.
Really? I see you while I'm talking.
Right.
Oh, but you're also the one hosting the call.
Well, yeah, I can see you in the corner, but whoever's talking is shown, and then whoever's not talking isn't shown. I don't know why I'm doing this when I could do this.
Yeah.
You can see me here. GM with no rope.
So yeah, captain's hat. Woo! I also have a Starfleet hat, and then a U.S. Army patrol cap. Fun stuff. Saint says that it did sound like the Doobie Brothers when he sent the message, and that you need to give him the cool remix.
I will send him the this remix at some point in time.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd really appreciate it.
Sure. We might. You know what? I might just hold on. What was Real View Future Week? We might just do an episode from there.
Real View Future Week. Let's see. Check that out at realviewmirror.com, which you can also access through iampuhan.com.
You can go to iampuhan.com, find great podcasting content from me.
And me.
And Joe
Unlike
sometimes.
all the shows. We could talk about A to Z. We could finish up on more Lion
Future
King.
Week.
Well, yes, but it's also an episode that we did. Kuhan Friday, that was Homage Week.
Just do
Another
Beanbag.
episode.
Night Attack. Real View Concerns.
Next says that you need RAM and Dual View.
Don't even know what that means. What do you mean dual view?
I guess it means that you'll be able to see everything.
Maybe.
We could do cult films again. Because that turned out so well the first
We
time.
could do TV and film.
We could.
The internet we already did.
And then we did another thing with the internet.
Let's talk about Anaheim again.
How I'm going up there on April 4th through 5th for WonderCon Anaheim, where I may or may not be doing a on-location episode, question mark?
Let's just do Pitch Planet.
I mean, we could. Can we just get other people randomly and just have them doing their shows?
Oh.
Welcome to Not Safe for Work. I'm going to talk to you about workers' compensation, guys. The dumbest joke. Dumbest joke.
Gonna keep cutting back to me because I'm playing the music. That's funny.
Yeah, no, it really is. I have to be talking in order to be in frame.
Yeah.
And even then, I need to be talking louder than the music is playing.
And also, you look like a potato.
Really? Because I turned my bandwidth usage all the way to auto HD, so
To
that's
me, you
your
look-
fault.
To me, you look like a potato. Dear viewers, tell us, does Jose look like a potato? Because if not, beautiful. I don't care. I don't care how I see him. What matters is how you see him, because my thing will get fixed eventually.
I mean, because I turned the settings all the way up, so I don't know what's wrong with you.
No, it might just it's probably the computer trying to run everything at once. And by everything, I literally mean
All the
Hangouts,
things.
IRC, and Audio Hijack so I can record my own end.
Oh, right, because you can't use the other program that you would normally use. Because it's too much.
I could, but I usually use Audio Hijack to record my own end because even Skype and Audio Hijack and Audacity
Yeah, you can just
are-
kill the other track and then use the track that you have.
Yeah.
Brant says that he doesn't see people like that. Because he's not racist.
Thanks for being quite helpful, Brant. That's just a real help there.
Round of applause for Gatawag, everyone. Real technical genius. Both faces on air using
Using OBS to stream to YouTube with one capturing my other not Hangout. Yeah, I definitely don't have the RAM for
also,
that.
he only has 4 gigs of RAM at this point.
Yeah.
And we
For
look
one,
like this.
But for the other thing is, we'll do that eventually.
Potato bitch wife.
That is actually because our $20 Patreon goal is to do Real View Mirror as a live video show, but we are currently doing that without the Patreon funding, and the idea is that the
That'll be
Patreon funding will
a
be a
Patreon
produced show, and
Yeah,
this is
it'll
just
actually have
hey,
production value
we're
as opposed
here.
to this, which is essentially just a live recording. Yeah.
I can't
and stuff.
hear you. That is not good. Are
That
you
is the
talking?
roundest head I've ever seen. Whose head? Is it mine or is it Kuhan's?
Oh no.
What?
Say something.
Something. Oh, from
Oh,
Muse
God.
of Fire.
Are we lagging again? Is this happening?
What's
Please.
happening?
Oh, good. Okay. No, I was just worried we were lagging again, like crazy, like with
One.
episode 4. Oh no.
Oh god.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Is it fixed?
I'm gonna say, Jesus Christ. Hello,
One.
everybody, and welcome to the BB Live Show.
Say one!
I'm Brian Brushwood. Joining me, as always, Justin Robert Rubles III. How's it going, Professor JRY?
He didn't have the beard at that point. I don't know what to say.
Oh, thank God. Oh, okay. No, we're not lagging. We're in sync. I'm Naim Siddiqui, aka Kuhan. Joining me, as always, is Jose Cuevas, but you can just call us Brian and Justin.
We're your real parents now.
Oh, boy. Oh, golly, you devil.
Don't make that the title of the episode.
I wish there was a way to do lower thirds easily.
Lower third? Lower third. So yeah, welcome widgets, I guess.
All right.
All you're supposed to do is yell and berate the callers. Okay, I can do that. Fuck you, Gatawag.
Oh, you're on the air. Adrian Brody. Wait, hold on. Shouldn't I be Justin? I have the soundboard.
Yeah, I guess. Yes, widgets, we are your real parents now.
Why are you searching for a face? Stop. I don't want to draw anymore. I decided against that. Turn off. Off. Please stop.
Thank God I was saved from draw. What? Why did you turn draw?
I was trying to use it for text, but that was a bad idea.
You could use a phone like a normal person.
Not for text message.
What? So that it says Kuhan on your window?
Yes. So it says something under my name and something into your face, so people can understand who we are.
In your spirit, where it's badly handwritten.
Yes. So it says, I watched for 5 minutes, it was funny, but then Kuhan played a version of Pendulum Slam that wasn't the Space Jam version.
Oh, and it says here, tell Kuhan he better be playing the Slam Jam version of this song.
Correctamundo. Fool this man!
That phone is definitely more powerful than Kuhan's computer. Yes, everyone, buy the lovely iPhone 5C. It comes in several appealing shell colors like blue and
I have the Moto X, which is also
and-
a solid phone.
I guess
That
white.
just
I don't
happened.
know what is color. That is a fictional construct invented by the paint industry to sell watercolors.
Jose is colorblind, which is why he sees the dress as white and gold. Okay.
No, but I see it as in brown. That makes no sense.
You see this button brown?
Purple and brown. Purple's not even a real color.
EPIA.
Problem solved.
I'm not sure what the problem was in that instance.
Wait, hold on. Let me pull up the other one.
Gay boy!
Mech is also colorblind, apparently.
And so the dress is black and blue because Mech is not a loser because his name rhymes with
Because Mech is not a loser. That's great.
yes. That's all right. Shit. You know what? Let's just do this. Let's just do it. Fuck it. We'll
But
do
what's
it live.
even the topic?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is. And hit record, Joe.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Oh no, wait, hold on. I need to switch the input.
We're going live now
Check.
because
Okay, this is good. It's golden.
because it's been 46 minutes since we were supposed to start the show, so we're starting it now. You recording?
Yeah, I am Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I am the star of Batman. And, like, my real name is Robin, but I was also adopted and raised in an orphanage. So, yeah. Hi, guys, I'm Tim Drake.
He wasn't adopted. He was just raised in an orphanage, and also
Shut up.
Tim Drake's parents aren't dead. I mean, they weren't. They died later.
Widgets, you want to talk science? I can talk science with you all day. That's all I've been doing the entire day. Life is great.
Where's that? I swear I texted you some foam.
You did not. I distinctly remember you not doing that. Oh,
Really?
no, wait, yes, you did. You texted it to me a couple of days ago.
Yeah, because I remember typing #foam in a text message. I thought.
Yeah. Here's us talking about QWERTY keyboards, so it's definitely below that.
Is it below that?
Maybe? No, because QWERTY keyboards was on Sunday.
Yeah, I thought it was before that.
Was it?
Why can't I search through my text messages? Come on, Google. You're a search company.
You want to plug your phone?
The Motorola Moto X. Maybe it was. I don't think that's. Is that how colorblindness works? Max says, I'm so colorblind I bought glasses that I thought were black. Turns out they were navy blue.
No, yeah, that is how it works. Like, I had a shirt that was just a really dark blue, and I thought it was black for like 3 years.
What color am I?
You are brown.
What color is my wall?
Oh, I hate you so much.
Ha!
It looks like a pink orange / beige.
It is definitely like an off-white beige.
It is like pink, orange, and beige at the same time.
There is no pink or there's definitely not pink. This is pink.
That's pink. That looks white.
The commit
Oh,
this to
text?
memory. The text.
Okay, yeah, that looks pink.
The shirt is white. Yes.
Brent says that you are potato colored,
That's true.
and Mech says that it's teal tan.
The wall. That's oh wow, teal. I just want to make sure that you understand teal's a blue.
I assumed that he was talking about Kuhan. So
I assume Mech understands teal's a blue.
Wait, it's a blue. It's like a bluish green.
Yeah, teal. It's
And
Jose's
it's like more green than blue.
wall's kind of teal.
Yeah, my wall is the paint can said like aqua. Something.
Sure.
Like I enjoy shades of blue because they're less confusing to me. They don't lead me to have existential crises.
Oh man, I want to come to your house and paint your wall this color, and then you just
Kuhan!
Kuhanamania's gonna run wild on you. That was a fun video to shoot.
Did you find the foam?
I did not. Maybe I sent it in the Variety Hour Show Hour chat.
It might have been through there. It might have also been in our personal chat window.
I sent a bunch of that in that chat window, but I thought I had some more from earlier.
Want to just start and then go from there, or?
Yeah, sure, why not? All right, we are.
And Widget says peach.
Um,
And Mech does not know what he was thinking of, because teal is definitely bluish.
all right, well, that's at least makes
That solves that mystery, I guess.
somewhat, I suppose.
The magic of colorblindness, people. The dress is real. Or not. It's up to you to decide. Only you can prevent forest fires. Remember to tip your waiters. Spay and neuter your pets. I'm out.
Oh wow, that was a left channel or something like that. It was only giving us one channel of that song.
Yeah, that sounded significantly more underwhelming than it usually is.
Yeah, because I did not add the mono version to my tablet, only the stereo version, because I assumed it would work. That was weird and unexpected.
Technical hiccup. We're already up to like 7. It's great.
I wonder if this will work. Hold on. It's not really like it makes a difference. Sure, that works.
For the intro.
Welcome to Real Humor, folks.
I guess that means it's showtime.
I guess that means it is go time. Thanks to the Swagger for our theme song, which will sound much better when you download the version. That was just so you knew what's going on. Shoot, where?
What's up, everybody?
Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the thing that I need to have for later, and I don't know where it is. There it is. Okay.
So yeah, welcome everybody. We should probably introduce ourselves.
Hello, everybody, and that's not how I start the show anyway. What the I hate myself. All right, in 3, 2, 1. This is episode 6 of the Real View Mirror podcast from IamKuhan.com podcast network. The Real View Mirror podcast is a show about a creative endeavor about other people's creative endeavors. It's a show about other shows and other forms of media. I, as always, am Naim Siddiqui. You might have heard me better on these two internets as Kuhan. Joining me, as always, is my faithful co-host, Jose Cuevas. How's it going, Joe?
Somebody is in my room right now who shouldn't be.
Fantastic. Awesome. So that is how Joe is doing, which is why his mic was muted for a brief moment.
Please leave. In the middle of it? Yes, so please.
Beautiful. This is beautiful. This is brilliant. And now his video's off. This is BB Live Show as hosted by two 20-year-olds.
And I'm back!
And he's back, but Joe's video's still off. And his video's on again. All right, there we go. We're going to start over.
That was...
In 3.
So that's what happens when you still live with your family, folks.
Let me just... We just
It's not gay if the balls don't touch.
that was way quieter than I remembered it being.
Yeah,
I
I
do.
remember that being a bit louder.
Yeah, me too. That's weird. That was me singing "It's Not Gay If the Balls Don't Touch." All right, we're gonna start all over with that. Out of the fire and into the fire again.
Nailed it!
Nailed it. And take two. All right. Hello. Damn it. It's how I start every other podcast. It's just a
really is.
natural freaking. Okay.
It really is.
This is episode 6 of the Real View Mirror podcast, a creative endeavor about other people's creative endeavors. The flagship podcast of IamKuhan.com, question mark? As always, I am Naim Sadiq. You might have heard me better on these here internets as Kuhan. Joining me, as always, Jose Cuevas. How is it going, Joe?
It's going pretty good, yeah. Interesting night. Lots of
Yes.
stuff going on.
Things are happening, things and stuff.
I mean, I did eat dinner, so I've got that going for me.
The Real View Mirror podcast is a podcast about media and media consumption. We consume a lot of media, and then we talk about that media as well as tropes and themes in that media. We like to talk about stuff. We are live, as is now usual, on DiamondClub.tv.
Catch us Fridays, some Fridays, usually around like 9 Central.
Ish.
DiamondClub.tv, question mark.
Sometimes maybe, question mark, who knows? Follow.
If you're catching the show later and you want to catch it live, definitely see if it's around at those times.
Follow us on Twitter to find out if we're going to go live. And if you donate to our Patreon, we will definitely be doing it regularly. But until then, we have a technical difficulty-laden show, much to the delight of Mech, Widgets, and Gatawag, who is our current live audience. It's a lot of fun.
Real View Mirror is taped in front of a Real View Mirror is taped in front of a live studio audience at DiamondClub.tv.
That's right. We're going to start today on a bit of a downer. I mean, it's not as much of a downer anymore. It happened a little while ago, about 2
we are a
weeks
bit
ago
more
now.
removed from it now than we were earlier. So
Yeah, but I still felt really bad listening to his
still
last podcast.
sort of sucks.
Yeah.
So Parks and Rec ended.
A couple weeks ago, so yeah, obviously Parks and Recreation ended. One of the writers and producers on the show, Harris Whittles, passed away on February 19th, I believe, 2015, at the age of 30. He was great comedian, great writer, great guest star on Parks and Recreation.
Stand-up writer, producer, man did a lot of comedy.
Yeah, his podcast appearances were fantastic. He died of a drug overdose, and we are both big fans of Comedy Bang Bang, which was a show that he appeared on pretty often. I since last summer, Joe since the day that we did our Comedy Bang Bang tribute episode.
What's up, hot dog?
So it was weirdly hard-hitting for somebody who we had never met and had only consumed their content. But
I think that speaks a lot about podcasting as a medium, too.
I agree. I think it also speaks a lot about us as people, especially as people who do a podcast about media and media consumption.
Which may or may not be comedic sometimes, question mark.
Hopefully we're funny sometimes. Hopefully people like us at least. So it was, it definitely was a strange sort of experience for us. The passing of Harris Whittles, and this is the second time in like 4 months or 6 months, something like that. Second time in a few months that I've had to talk about somebody dying way too young on a podcast. In October, Oscar Taveras, right fielder for the St. Louis Cardinals, died in a car crash. It was a drunk driving incident. Stuff happened. It sucks when young people pass away. It sucks when people who haven't even reached any of their full potential pass away. Harris Whittles, at age 30, has a full comedy career ahead of him.
Yeah, he was. I don't even think he peaked at that point, and he was doing a lot of stuff.
he started on the Sarah Silverman program. He wrote for Eastbound and Down. He was a producer on Parks and Rec, starting from a writer on season 2. He was writing on Aziz Ansari's new show. Aziz Ansari actually wrote a really
move to New York with Aziz Ansari.
Aziz actually wrote a really great Tumblr piece on it. So you should definitely check out Aziz's blog post on that because it was heart-wrenching. But
should be azizisboard.tumblr.com.
Aziz is bored, bored.tumblr.com. Yeah. Or I think it probably is just azizansari.com. I think. I think azizansari.com might even just point there. I don't know. Or you can probably get to it through there. But yeah. So it was tough seeing someone like that pass. It's especially with both these people. Really, Harris hit me far more than Oscar Taveras. Oscar Taveras is actually still my desktop background. But Harris hit me more just because I think he was starting his prime, not in his prime. Oscar Taveras, as a baseball player, as a rookie, he hadn't done much yet. He had all this potential in front of him. Harris had all this behind him and still in front of him. He started writing on a sitcom on the Sarah Silverman program at like age 21 or something like that. He had a lot of
reasonably long career, even though he hadn't really realized a lot at that point yet.
Yeah,
like he'd done a lot, and it's just he had so much in front of him. Like as we stated, he was going to New York to start a new show with Aziz Ansari once. He was going to move there like the week after or something.
Something like that. Yeah, it was like he was moving soon. He actually in the blog post. I don't want to rehash all this stuff, but in the blog post, he was like Aziz was talking about how he was trying to get healthy and stuff like that. So it really sucks. But I don't want to be too much of a downer, and I don't think Harris would want anybody.
We should probably celebrate Harris the way he would want to be celebrated.
So we're going to celebrate Harris on Comedy Bang Bang. They used to do a bit where he would write his thoughts.
Theme music.
All right,
it's better that way.
Sure, fine. And load. And
Harrison's phone corner, yeah, come on, Harrison's phone corner, what, yo, come on, Harrison's phone on the phone, get the phone, it's a phone corner.
Thank you, Reggie Watts for the theme. So we're gonna do Harris's phone corner. It was a bit Harris did on the Comedy Bang Bang podcast where he would basically, I believe El Chupacabra coined it. Harris is not good enough for Twitter corner. It was basically his pre-Twitter jokes. So we're gonna try to do our own take on Harris's foam corner and try to read some foam. So Joe, why don't you start off?
So I started making perfume out of chloroform. It's a knockout.
Some classic foam. I wanna buy a 1954 Cadillac so that if I get caught speeding like in a 50-mile-an-hour zone, I go 5 miles over. I can say, "I'm sorry, officer. Was I doing 55 in my 54?"
Why are they called packing peanuts? Is there like packing peanut butter?
This one just says Zia crystal meth.
This one just says Kuhan.
It doesn't make sense, Joe.
You know what'd be crazy? If pigs had wings.
That was mine.
I wrote it. I wrote it, and then you proceeded to say, yes, that is foam.
So, what happened was, I decided to get high to write some foam, and so I smoked some weed, but I didn't get high, and so I couldn't write much foam.
This one just says something about... Oh, right, that's what it was. So, I'm really into necrophilia. Now that Harris is dead, I really want to fuck him. It's not as funny as it was last night.
I'm not gay, but my asshole is. Alright, we're gonna...
Take us out of foam corner. This place is too weird.
It's not too weird. That doesn't work. That really doesn't work.
Harrison's phone corner, yeah, come on, Harrison's phone corner, what, yo, come on, Harrison's phone on the phone, get the phone, it's a phone corner.
So that is the best way we could think to honor Harris Whittles by telling really, really bad jokes in the style question mark of Harris Whittles. Clearly not as funny.
I had a joke about death and a joke about sex, and that's usually what he talks about. So
Just a reminder, my email is harriswhittles@gmail.com.
send dick pics.
Send dick pics and also tit pics. All right, moving on from that, which might have been ill-advised. We're going to.
It might have been, but that's exactly how Harris would have wanted to be honored.
We lost 2 viewers.
Motherfuckers just want to laugh.
We're gonna go right into what we have been consuming, because this is a show about media consumption, and because the last time that we did an episode, we didn't do this segment and went way too short. So what have besides the new
Besides the
Netflix
big thing.
sitcom, The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Joe, what have you been watching?
What have I been watching? I have Justice. Yeah, that was a bad idea. So Young Justice was sort of like the Teen Titans, but not. It was weird. I've also been watching Green Lantern, the animated series.
Mech just sent a picture of Richard Nixon. It's a dick pic. Yeah, as far as what have I been watching? I think I watched a couple of comedy specials again. I might have watched a movie. I don't even know what I've been watching, man. I've been watching things and stuff. Stuff shows up. Oh, you know what? We've been watching a lot of cricket in the house.
How's
the
that?
The sport of cricket. It's all right.
Are there like individuals who are particularly good at the sport, or is it a team sport? I don't know how the sport works.
It is a team sport.
I watch hockey, man. I don't know how this works.
The World Cup is happening right now, so that's
in Brazil?
Generally around 7 o'clock. We throw it on. I think it's in Dubai or Australia.
So like a Commonwealth country.
Well, Dubai's not a Commonwealth country. Dubai's a city in the United Arab Emirates. I might be happening both places. I'm not exactly sure where it's happening, but usually at
sure.
at in the evening they'll throw on cricket. It's on right now
Like
actually downstairs, which might be why my stream is not the highest quality and why I'm seeing Joe like a potato, because we're simultaneously streaming cricket online and trying to do a live podcast. As far as I've also been listening to a lot more music than I had. I went to my first ever concert last week. I'm 22 years old. Went to my first ever concert last
is
week.
now a man.
It was Motion City Soundtrack, who is
one of his favorite bands.
Probably my favorite band. So I've been re-listening to a lot of their music again because I've been excited. I heard of a new podcast called Serial, guys.
Oh my god, that show is so good. It got me into podcasts. Podcast, guys. Podcast.
I actually finally decided to listen to Serial, but I haven't done it yet.
I
forgot
a few episodes of Serial.
I had one more piece of foam that I forgot to do, which is if a man's on a wheelchair when the rapture happened, does that mean Jesus takes the wheel?
I don't know if the jokes are weirder or less weird when we're out of Foam Corner.
I only had to do it there because we're never going to do Foam Corner again. That's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, besides that,
I've been reading a lot of comic books for the class I'm taking.
Widget says cricket is.
Although all new Hawkeye started this week.
Oh, did it?
It's actually really good, despite not being Fractionaja.
I should check that out. Widget says cricket is like baseball for brown people. I also watch way more baseball. I do a baseball podcast and barely understand cricket.
Potato people.
I also downloaded a new podcast called You Talking You Two to Me Too. Yes. I haven't listened to it yet. That's what it's called. I've listened to a lot of the Crack podcast, which is actually where I got the idea for the topic of this episode was during an ad read on the Crack podcast. So we will talk about that. But really, the big thing we've both been watching is The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt on Netflix. It released today, as we're recording on Friday, March 6th. Joe was waiting. He's like, he sent me a message last night, like, "Hey, when does stuff get added to Netflix?" And I'm like, I think midnight, and he goes, local time? I'm like, well, yes and no. No for me, yes for you. It gets added at midnight
I was just
Pacific
like,
time.
damn, I thought it was midnight then. Midnight East Coast.
Yeah. It gets added at midnight Pacific time,
Which was
which
disappointing, but honestly, it was worth the wait.
Yeah, it was fun. I watched like 6 or 7 episodes last night, and then I rewatched the first 6 episodes again today with my roommate, and some with my brother, and some with a friend from middle and high school who came over.
I watched the whole show.
Yeah, Joe watched the show. I would have been able to watch the whole show if I had not watched with other people the second time around. But I did catch a couple of. I'm not gonna play the theme music for this. It's a terrible, terrible idea.
You sure? What? It's a terrible idea. Also, it is Kuhan's mic that has crackle.
Yes, it's Snap Crackle Poppin'.
Ooh, yeah. But yeah, really fun show. Showrunners are Tina Fey and Robert Carlock. You might know them from 30 Rock and other things. Crackle is less significant now.
Testing. Can you hear me now?
Still crackly.
Still crackly? Son of a biscuit.
Oh crap, we're not allowed to swear right now, are we? Because we're talking about Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Better?
No.
No?
I can hear you. It's not better. Kuhan is Bionicle, which is back, by the way. New for 2015. It's great.
Better? Worse? Better? Worse?
Mech says, have you tried getting rid of the mic and the computer and just doing everything on your phone?
Is this better at all?
No.
No. Okay. Huh. Is it? Yeah, it is coming from the mixer. But I turned the mixer.
Is everything wired correctly? Technical hiccups, everybody.
Crackle is
that's
still
really
there.
your way. So while Kuhan figures this out, I'm going to tell more jokes. So one way that you really get noticed is convincing everyone that you're an archaeologist for 2 reasons, for 2 really, really big reasons. Number 1 is that everyone thinks you're Indiana Jones, and number 2 is everyone wants to learn how the dinosaurs died. And that's the story of how I decided to minor in anthropology.
Better? No, still not better. What the fart nuggets?
So Kuhan's a math major. That's the joke in itself, observation. And really, there are 2 sorts of people in the world. Those who prefer calculus
3.
and those
There's
who stopped
3.
listening when I said, well, Kuhan's a math major.
There's
Shut
3
up,
types of
Kuhan.
people in the world. Those like calculus, those like statistics.
People who enjoy statistics. Yeah. Which is funny, because I am one of those people. I do prefer statistics calculus. It's coming from inside the mixer. I can't even hear you if you're talking.
I know. How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that sounds great.
This sounds good?
Yeah.
Great. I just need
So now that we're out of that bunker.
The problem is that also stopped the recording. So give me a second. I have to restart the recording. Beautiful. Thank you. All right, we're back. Tony, edit all this out. And by Tony, I mean me.
Which is funny, because we do have an editor named Tony. You just don't use him on any of the shows you tell the editor, Tony, to do anything on.
Yep. Joe, you're majoring in marine biology, right?
Yeah,
Is it a yes?
I am majoring in marine biology, and I'm researching marine paleontology stuff. So, even though I'm a biologist, I deal with rocks. Figure that one out.
Sure. All right. Kimmy Schmidt. 6 episodes, etc., etc. Fuck. Just start over. All right. The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I watched the first 7 episodes or so. Joe, you watched all of it?
Yeah. It was really good. Really good. Tina Fey shows up.
Yes, I have not seen Tina Fey show up yet. As you were saying it earlier, before we started the show. No, not before we started the show. Fuck.
before we started the segment?
Sure, hold on. It's
Take 5.
This is the worst. This is so bad. Trying to start over from technical hiccups. The show is just start talking.
So The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is an American comedy television show created by Tina Fey and Robert Carlock, and it's technically a Netflix original. It was initially pitched as an NBC sitcom, and NBC was like, sure, go ahead, we'll approve you for 1 season.
Yeah, I think it was.
And then they turned around and were like, you know what, this might work better as a Netflix show. And so they were like, hey, Netflix, you want in on this deal? And they were like, sure. So NBC Universal Television was like, sure, Netflix can have the show for 2 seasons. So
Yeah, it was really interesting.
just-
Actually. So Netflix actually did pick it. No, sorry, Netflix. NBC actually did pick it up and make it, and then sold it to Netflix.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, it ties a lot into what we were talking about the last couple of episodes.
Yeah, actually, it really does. Especially with the last episode.
Interplay between like networks and the internet streaming media.
Yeah. Because generally, something like that, when that happens, it's Netflix like, oh, we paid for this show. Maybe it doesn't work on NBC. Let's throw it on USA, or let's throw it on, I don't know, Oxygen. They own that network, right? I don't know exactly which networks they own, but I believe.
I think Universal owns Syfy.
I don't think Kimmy Schmidt will work on Sci-Fi.
Sex Criminals might.
Maybe, but they do own USA, and I'm pretty sure they own Oxygen. I think they've shown Olympics on Oxygen before. So, NBC Sportsnet, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. It's a fun show. It's about Ellie Kemper plays Kimmy Schmidt, who came out of
escapes from a cult and starts life over in New York City.
Yep.
Specifically Manhattan, just like pretty much every other Tina Fey thing. I mean, because she knows Manhattan.
Right what you know.
Wait, so did Tina Fey escape from a cult?
right what you know. So Middle America and Manhattan. Because Indiana, close enough to Chicago.
Yep. Also, Titus Burgess as Titus.
Yes. Jane Krakowski as Mrs. Voorhees.
And a bunch of other people. Has a bunch of other stuff.
Some girl with a boy's name as Xanthippe.
Yeah.
I forgot her name.
Dylan Galula?
Yes, Dylan. That's the boy's name I was thinking of. Yeah, so it's what?
It's a Tina Fey show.
It's a Tina Fey show. It really is. It shows, but it is different from The Office. One thing I really liked about it was watching the first episode and also the entire first season. And I don't know if this is just because it's 2015 or because she noticed this in 30 Rock, but it's a lot brighter than the first season of 30 Rock, and not just because there's not the comedy,
but like tone and atmosphere.
The color palette actually itself is so much brighter.
Yeah, she's like freaking wearing yellow and
that, but like also the first season of 30 Rock, like it looked like they didn't have enough lighting. Like
they may not have actually had.
It's very possible that they actually did not have enough lighting at 30 Rockefeller Plaza when they shot 30 Rock. But yeah, whereas this actually looks like it's a bright environment. So I enjoyed that because that's the thing that I liked least about the first season of 30 Rock was the environment just did not seem very bright, especially compared to later seasons even.
Sure,
which I had watched first.
Because you were like, okay, I'm going to start season 1, skip to season 2, and then watch the rest of it. Oh, maybe I should go back to season 1.
Well, what actually happened was I watched 30 Rock as it was airing, starting with like season 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And so that was my view of 30 Rock. So when I went back to season 1, which I had also partially watched on like WGN late night 30 Rock, it was like, oh, this feels different from the 30 Rock that I am used to, because 30 Rock I was used to was later season 30 Rock.
Yeah, I think I started like on season 4 or 4 or 5.
Whereas Parks and Rec was weird because I started Parks and Rec with episode 1, and then like after catching up, going back, I'm like, man,
it's like, wow, this is weird.
Early Parks and Rec is really strange. This is a very different show.
Mark
Um,
Brendan quits.
Whatever happened to this park?
I guess Andy's gonna have to, and it's really weird too when they reference the events that happened in the first 2 seasons, because it's like, yeah, I married some penguins. Oh, that actually happened? Yeah, I fell in the pit. I guess when I move to DC, I'm gonna have to find another pit to fall in. Oh, that
Well,
happened?
It's not even those that are weird, because like I married the penguins, I fell in the pit. Like those are like, all right, whatever. Like I used to like not April. Anne and Andy used to date. It's like, oh right, that happened. That
And
just doesn't
it's
seem
to the
like
point
a thing
where
that
the audience forgot, and so did Andy.
I'm pretty sure Michael sure forgot. Like there was like, oh yeah, that's right, those two used to date. Like I feel it's gonna happen in like season 3 or 4 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, that's right. Joe Latrudo's characters.
And Gina and
Gina and
Boyle. Yeah. Gina and Boyle.
Oh no, not that. I thought it was gonna be Boyle. Boyle used to have a crush on Rosa, like because they have dumped that. That was a major plot of season 1, and I don't think either of them like has really talked much about anything in season 2 besides professional stuff. Like it was because that I feel like is never gonna go away. They slept together once or twice or a lot of times. But the Boyle has a crush on Rosa thing, I don't think that's ever, I think that's going to be like, oh yeah, that was a season 1 thing, we gave up on it.
Yeah.
They moved on from that. So it's an interesting thing that happens. Maybe that's what we should talk about on this episode.
Season 1s?
Yeah.
It's a good tie-in.
Let's do it.
All right. We go into the main segment?
Okay, let's do it live. All right, so we are going into the topic now.
We are doing this live from DiamondClub.tv in true DiamondClub.tv style.
If you think we're worth any money, head over to patreon.com/RealViewMirror and donate a couple bucks our way, or 25 cents, as both Gatawag and Rick Foster did.
And they are members of the Diamond Club Secret Club.
The Real View Mirror Secret Club.
Real View Mirror Secret Club, which is like a cult, except we don't hold you underground for 15 years.
Yet. We don't yet. We might.
That could be a stretch goal.
Stretch goal. Yes.
We rebuild the bunker from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Sure. So let's talk about since we decided to this topic literally live as we were recording and changed our mind completely on the original topic, which was perception of stuff as it goes on.
Too long didn't read Kenneth Sees Everyone as a Muppet.
Yeah, we were struggling on thinking of something to do with that, because the idea of the topic in the first place was just like, hey guys, I was like, hey Joe, the dress thing happened, let's try to capitalize on that. You can't see my hands, but this is me texting. Hey Joe, the dress thing happened, let's capitalize on that.
Color is a fictional construct made by the paint industry to sell watercolors. Send.
Joe, you are colorblind. So that was our original plan, was to do something about different perception of things in media. We might still do something like that if we
actually get around to thinking about it more.
We just didn't do enough show prep. I think it was the kind of thing that we really needed to talk about in depth for like an hour or two before the show to get like a list of things down, and we did not do that. So instead, what we're going to do is talk about evolutions of television programs and how different the characters will tend to be from season 1 to season 6, 7, 8, or whatever the last season is. Or, depending on the show, how much they're exactly the same. Some characters will, depending on the show, some shows will be like, we have a plan from season 1 all the way up to season 7, and from season 1 to season 7, this character will not change. This character is going to stay exactly the same.
And I could even argue that they do change, but also the way the narrative is told, it could be seen as season 1 through 9 is a continual narrative, season 1 is a cohesive narrative within itself, and season 1 and 9 is its own narrative.
Well, it's
How I Met Your Mother.
Well, where there's that, but also like, and when I say character doesn't change, obviously every character changes throughout the context of a show. Otherwise, there's no point in watching the show. The idea of the shows that grow and change, unless it's a sitcom where They will still change from season 1 to season 9, which they
Sure,
tend
but
to.
there is a relative status quo that is maintained more or less.
Right, and when I say sitcom, I mean like a '90s sitcom, like Roseanne, except for the last season, or like Married with Children, where you are basically just doing sitcom tropes that entire show, and they're doing things every episode. So obviously characters grow and change, but whereas if you watch the last episode of, or if you watch an episode from season 6 of Parks and Rec and compare it to an episode of season 1 from Parks and Rec,
You're watching two different shows at that point.
Yeah, like you're watching two different shows with these same actors. Tom Haverford is a completely different character. Leslie Knope
is a completely different character.
Yeah, Andy starts off as kind of a dick and not as dumb, and ends up as a lovable goof who is a total idiot. April
He also gets really buff.
He does get super buff. He stops drinking beer. April stays pretty much the same.
How much beer was he drinking?
So it is. Gary Gergich is start in episode 1. When he starts, he's just sort of a dude. By the end of the show, like he's just a guy, just a background. Basically,
He has his own realized arc.
By the end of the show, he is a completely they wrote his character based on something that he kind of said. Same with Retta, actually. They sort of wrote that character based on let's just sort of write it around Retta. Originally, it was just yeah, we have a character called Donna. She's there. Mark Brendanowicz becomes two different dudes.
Played by completely different people. Like they got the guy from West Wing and the guy from Party Down.
So the
and
progression.
I was going to. Go on. I forgot.
So the progression of characters is one of the.
Ron Swanson wears a suit in season 1.
In season 1?
Ron Swanson wears a suit in season 1.
Does he never wear a suit after that?
No, he doesn't. And at one point he's like, I never wear suits.
He also
he's
after
doing like the freaking flannel.
After season 2, never wears short sleeves.
Yeah.
But his intro in the show is him wearing short sleeves. But like that, I watched that episode where the intro comes from, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Something feels off about Ron's dress. I'm like, oh, he's wearing short sleeves. That's abnormal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, that's from the intro. Why is he like? This is so weird that he's wearing short sleeves to me. I don't understand.
I know, right?
So yeah, it's interesting how they'll develop quirks of a character over a few episodes, and then those characters those character quirks will then sort of be that character, and it's the kind of thing that happens in sitcoms a lot, especially with lazy writers. And I'm sure you've all seen this graphic of sitcom character where they have like they start out sort of a normal dude, normal people. And then as the show goes on and on and on, their quirks become amplified to the point where the graphic you'll see is just like a guy who wears like a shirt and tie, and kind of has sort of biggish ears. And then like the ears get bigger, the tie gets wider until the end it's just like a giant head with a tie and massive ears. And it's like, oh, that is the progression of a sitcom character. And that has to happen a lot with lazy sitcoms and sometimes less lazy sitcoms, but like with Barney Stinson, How I Met Your Mother was already pretty one note.
Barney changes so much from season 1 to season 9.
Yeah.
It's not just character development either, it's just exaggerating the features that are already there. It's like, yeah, suits are cool, too. I always wear suits. Always.
Well, and also because I think in season 1 he always wore a suit, and they're like, oh, we're just gonna keep him always wearing suits.
Yep.
But like Lily starts as just like a lady to like she gets super angry about stuff and Aldrin Justice and
she starts stealing things, and also she doesn't want to be a teacher anymore, and then she does, and then she doesn't. Question mark. Let's go to Italy.
One of the biggest things of 30 Rock, which we were talking about earlier, is the Jenna character was written originally for Rachel Dratch, and she was a pretty normal, she's a star, but not like a crazy out of control star.
And then when they did the pilot, it just didn't really gel as well as it could have.
Yeah, and even even in the first season, Jenna isn't. She's kind of a.
She's acceptably adjusted.
She's a handful, but she's not season 5 Jenna.
And then like later on, Jane Krakowski turns it up to, Taddy, why are you doing this?
Yeah. Who's a literally an insane person. There's also Mech is
if it's a blonde woman, I will kill myself.
Yeah. Mech is mentioning New Girl. They replaced the black guy with another black guy, and then eventually brought back the original black guy as a new character. It's not a new character. He came back as the same character. But it was that was explained.
It was great.
That guy had to go do this thing because in real life he had to go do another show.
It's actually pretty great though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like even in New Girl, you see these sorts of evolutions from frickin' what's that guy's name? The male lead. Like he just starts off as sort of mildly grumpy and moves on into this character who is like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I'm going to kick this flower and run away. And Schmidt just becomes more and more flamboyant as we go on, which is sort of strange. I don't know, I really like New Girl, but it's also just sort of a weird show.
Yeah. What another interesting thing that happens is the sort of feel of the show, especially again from season 1 to later seasons, or even season 1 and season 2 to later seasons, depending on the show, obviously. Where again, like I was saying earlier with 30 Rock season 1, season 2, mostly season 1 has a much darker, much more muted color palette than later seasons, which primarily
it feels more like it's just sort of this story inside of their office, and later on it's like, okay, here's New York, and New York is pretty weird, guys. 30 Rockefeller Plaza.
Although now that you say The Office, that is another quite a noted example.
At camera.
What?
Stares directly at camera.
Yeah, that is. Speaking of The Office. That is
Welcome to Real View Live, where you get really silly visual gags, which don't transition well to this ostensibly audio podcast.
We gotta do at least one an episode. But that is an example of
the captain's hat and that.
that is another pretty big example of Michael Scott in season 1 especially is just kind of a dick. And like his hair is all greased back, and like, but after that, like after the first season, I think is when he did 40-Year-Old Virgin, and they're like, let's just make you that guy.
Yeah, because Steve Carell plays this sort of character there, and it's like, that character was working for you in that film. Let's just turn Michael Scott into that.
So he turns from like sleazy, sleazy whatever to just a likable dude.
And I mean, like, I was just watching some early season 2, and he's still kind of sleazy, but he's becoming more likable. It's interesting. Because it's like early season 2, he's still pretty sleazy, but also he's getting more likable. It was really strange.
Now, what is interesting is dramas, which I don't necessarily watch a lot of. Depending on the drama, though, I'm trying to look for something that I've actually seen as far as dramas go. I have seen House of Pies, but it's been it's out of my memory a little bit. Boy, it's a little more complicated as far as character development goes in dramas. Generally, so like in something like Breaking Bad,
sure,
it's sorry, we just asked how long is this segment normally, and Max says I have no idea, and then we just says, oh, I think I enjoy the technical glitch part the best. And Max like, I agree.
Have fun trying to figure that out, audio listeners.
What's interesting is the progression in dramas, especially in something like Breaking Bad, where they obviously had a very clear beginning and end to that character, and so it's as opposed to like with something like in a sitcom, you will see like between season 1 and 2 a change, between seasons 3 and 4 a change, and you'll go back and see, oh, that's something that was mentioned here. You know, like astronaut Mike Dexter in 30 Rock doesn't, like, that line doesn't even appear till like season 3 or something like that, but it just, or season 4, but it just seems like something that's been around
person,
forever.
and then it just sort of evolves.
Yeah. In something like Breaking Bad,
Also, she gets to come to play astronaut Mike Dexter at some point
but in a drama,
to
especially
kick out a gay cop.
it's a lot more natural. Generally, it is in a non-serialized drama, in a hey, you know, like not like a Monster of the Week drama is what I mean. Like in something else, it's usually going to be this is, and like it is, because a lot of them are going to be character-driven pieces.
One of my favorite pieces like that is Leverage, and Timothy Hutton's character goes back and forth between being sober and drunk, and at one point he's like, you know what, I wasn't very good at being a drunk good guy or a sober bad guy, maybe I'll just be a drunk good guy. And it's this real progression between the first 3 seasons, where it's like he's doing more and more extreme things, and then he realizes that pushes him too far to the brink, whether he's sober or whether he's drunk. And it's like, you know, maybe I can just try to manage my drinking and try to do good at the same time.
Yeah. Now, Leverage is actually the opposite of what I was talking about, because Leverage is very serialized. But as far as like something like, as I was saying a minute ago, Breaking Bad, it is. If you like, if as you watch, you know, season 1 all the way to season 6, it's everything is a natural progression. If you miss something, it's like, oh, that's weird. How did that happen? If you watch, but if you watch it in a serialized progression, it's like you forget that character even changed. In certain ways, whereas like, you know, you in something like a sitcom, you'll watch something. At the end of a season to the beginning of a season, beginning of the next season, they'll be like, oh, that is how they adjusted that character between seasons. Whereas something like I can't think of another example like Breaking Bad, but something like that. It is a.
I mean, like Breaking Bad's just a really good example of that sort of show.
Right, between season 3 and 4. Well, and generally with Breaking Bad, between season 3 and 4, it's a day happens, or like a month happens, as opposed to something like a sitcom, like a serialized drama where it's like, oh, between season 3 and 4, yes, the summer happened. Yeah. So like it's like, oh, you missed, like, all this stuff happened in the meantime. We'll tell you about it in flashbacks.
And it really just depends on that on the sort of show or the sort of story you want to tell too.
Yeah. They're mentioning Happy Days in the chat, which is a huge example of Happy Days and Family Matters, of what's called Urkeling and Orphanzing. Where you get a breakout character like, oh, let's just
let's just make the show about this character.
Yeah, where like Urkel appeared as, like, Urkel was originally a one-off character, and people liked him so much they went back and reshot all the cold opens in the season to include Urkel so that they could write him into the next season.
Yep.
So it's that is it worked for their bottom line. Yes, it did. Didn't necessarily work for all of the cast who were like, hey, there's a great Key and Peele sketch where I think Jordan Peele plays Reginald Val Johnson, and he's like, yeah, this show is supposed to be about a father and like a blue collar family in Chicago.
Matters.
Yeah, this is supposed to be about a blue collar family in Chicago, and now it's just
being about Jaleel White.
This weird comedy, impossible sci-fi show about Jaleel White and what is happening.
Although Jaleel White did find difficulty in trying to get other work because people inextricably linked him to Urkel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting, not only character, but just sort of story there.
I am having trouble doing this topic without just like naming examples of things.
Sure, but it's like from a writing perspective, it's like you still haven't figured out what sort of story you want to tell that early on in the narrative. It's like, okay, so this is about Parks and Recreation, so I guess let's create an issue and have them try to create a park. So they come in with this character, and it's like, yeah, here is an issue. Here's an issue that we're going to resolve, and that sort of becomes the driving focus of Season 1. And as they're telling the story, you see the characters are sort of telling the writers these sorts of things. It's like, oh, here's what's working, here's what isn't working, and so is the audience, too, because media in general is this sort of collaborative process to tell a story. It's not really complete until the audience receives it and they get that story, and from there it's like, okay, so Season 1 happened. Here's what worked. Here's what didn't work. Telling that story.
Yeah, exactly. You'll see that with the storytelling. So the situations change. Besides just the characters, you'll see the kind of situations changing, especially around the characters of Parks and Rec, around the characters of 30 Rock. Those general sort of more recent sitcoms. It's like, well, I mean, we already took care of like. Or hey, like especially with Parks and Rec, where it's like, oh, like a lot of this is just government stuff. So it's just going to be happening in the meantime.
On like the characters and what they're doing.
And also like Leslie Knope is 33 years old. We're not going to have her be the director of Parks and Recreation forever.
Yeah.
You have to move along with the character.
She's clearly competent. She's clearly capable.
Yeah. So you have to do other things with these characters. So. It is sort of the characters dictating the story. It's like, oh, like in How I Met Your Mother in Season 1, Marsh and Lily get engaged, and it's like, well, these, they're not. Are we going to do that thing where they're engaged for 6 years and never get married? So they at the end of Season 2 they get married. They have a kid.
On the last season of Boy Meets World.
What?
Or because for the last bit of Boy Meets World, it was like, oh, well, I guess they're married now. Are we just going to do a bunch of married couple tropes? Yes, we are.
Well, and Boy Meets World is a weird one, because that is something where the kids are growing up from 5th grade to graduating college.
Yeah.
But you have the weird Mr. Feeney thing, where he
just sort of follows them from school to school,
and it makes sense that he's following them, from elementary, not even elementary school. They started middle school. I think they started in 6th grade. So middle school to middle school teacher to middle school teacher to I think middle school principal to high school teacher, and then retires and then starts going to college as a student and then becomes a college professor, and that's the weird jump.
Yeah.
Before he's teaching at the college, it's like, all right, that's a reasonable career progression. And then he's teaching at although 4 years of teaching at high school level and then retiring is kind of weird, but. Then he follows them to the college. He's like, oh, that is, I guess that's...
Also weird.
Sure, Feeney.
And I mean, yes, I do have high school teachers who did lecture at colleges, but also they were like, yeah, I'm a high school teacher, and it's like, I don't really like teaching college, and yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of weird in that one.
And also, Adam Scott is there as a bully?
Sometimes. Except when he's
really...
Yeah. It is it's a weird situation when you have to do character growth, but some characters don't fit with that growth.
Like Adam Scott's character.
Like Adam Scott's character. I was actually going to say when Adam Scott's character comes into Parks and Rec, because Paul Schneider's character, Mark Montanowicz, did not fit into the character growth of Parks and Recreation.
Sure, because he didn't really have a story that he was going to tell.
Right, so he starts to move into the background, and
he's going to date Anne now, and that's not really working because their personalities don't really mesh that well in a personality type thing. So I guess he's getting written out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I think it's partially that, and partially I want out because I'm not getting stuff in the show, so I'm just going to do nothing instead. So it is sort of a weird. And interesting. I mean, as the show progresses, the change in the characters in the movement, it happens. I mean, in other media too, in books, in movies. Especially when it's the kind of thing where it's not it's not tightly plotted from beginning to end. It's not, hey, here's what's going to happen at the beginning, here's what's happening at the end, here's what happens in between.
It's just sort of, okay, I guess we're going to tell this story the first season, and then we'll go from there.
Right, or hey, we're going to tell the story of the first movie, and then, now we got enough money to do a sequel. We weren't planning on doing a sequel, but now we will. Whereas if it's something that what?
Like Hot Tub Time Machine 2 starring Adam Scott?
Yeah, pretty much. If it's like, yes, we know, because generally a first movie that knows is going to get a sequel is like, oh yes, here is the sequel tease. A first movie that doesn't know is going to get a sequel is like, we are closing this movie out and it's done. And it's like, oh, we're getting a sequel and let's open back up those characters and crush all the character development we did in the first movie that completed their stories.
Well, especially because Adam Scott is an original character for that sequel too.
Yes. Yeah. Because we couldn't get back John Cusack. So it's there's an interesting interplay between I guess just any sort of serialized storytelling and those characters changing over time.
Yeah. And I think it's like I've said this a lot, but really it is just the characters trying to tell that story, especially because, okay, so first season of How I Met Your Mother, it's going to start off with Marshall and Lily getting engaged, and then Ted's like, I sort of want that too, so his first season is going to get Robin, and then it's like, okay, where do we go from there? I guess from there he can try to pursue a relationship with Robin, and then it's like, okay, from there, I guess it falls apart, and then from there it's like, okay, we can tell other stories too, because these characters are starting to develop, they're starting to tell the sorts of stories that they would want to be telling. And on Parks and Rec, it's like, okay, we're going to do the Pit, and from here, I guess we can keep talking about the Pit, but they've got other government projects. I mean, the Parks and Recreation Department isn't just focused on this one park. They've got all the other parks where people are taking water from the water fountains, or they're trying to run community projects and community programs, or maybe somebody wants to run for a different public office. So
yeah, and between seasons 3 and 4 and 5, I think pretty much for the most part in those seasons, the park from season 1 is barely mentioned at all until like season 6. It's like, oh yes, let's talk about that park again. And it becomes a very different thing. And also like side characters drop off. Like there was the character that was played by Kristen Bell in season 6, I believe, who was very similar to a character like who it would have made perfect sense to have a character from season 2 or something like that reprise her role and come in and be sort of a semi-recurring character. I think
it was 2 or 3.
I think it might have been Piper Perabo. Or something like that, but instead they made it Kristen Bell, which made sense too. Like that was cool. And it was nice to have Kristen Bell there. But it was like, oh yes, this seems like the kind of character that is
already showed up here. And
and Leslie refers to her as her old friend a couple times, and it's like you could have used that character, just had to be like because this character is supposed to be Eagleton Leslie. Is the idea, and you already have Eagleton Leslie.
She showed up and she did some things with those parks, and
and then just went away. And so it is a weird sort of progression thing when you can't get a guest character back, but you want to get them back, and so you sort of write a role for a different person to make their guest character. Cough cough Nadia cough cough.
Or even going the other way, if a guest character seems to be telling a story and you can get them back, like frickin' Jean-Ralphio Saperstein.
I was saying Urkel. You said Jean-Ralphio?
Jean-Ralphio.
Yeah. I don't think that was the character as much as we like Ben Schwartz. Let's bring him back.
No, sure, but also Jean-Ralphio's basically always there doing like, okay, get rich quick schemes, and here's my sister, and she's going down a little bit in narrative,
but like he shows up once or twice a season, as opposed to like they're
just really like the Sapersteins, man.
some characters will have, and I can't think of an example off the top of my head right now, but some characters will be you are a one episode guest star, and then turns into a recurring role or turns into a starring role. And like I said, I can't think of anything off the top of my head besides Urkel. who turned into the star of the show. But that is a extreme example.
Like, why is a show about a geeky black kid called Family Matters?
Yeah, because there were like there was a full season and a half before it was about a geeky black kid. And even in the beginning, he was just like, "Hey, here's their wacky neighbor." It's like if Kimmy from Full House became the star of Full House. Because originally it was like, "Hey, he's just our wacky neighbor who's kind of a geek and sometimes a friend of the characters." And then it's like, "Hey, it's the Urkel Show starring Steve Urkel. Hey, it's the Tommy Show starring Tommy Oliver."
Yup.
So it's yeah, that's. I mean, I guess I can think of examples where actors came in a guest role and then became series regulars, but they became series regulars as different characters, like Paget Brewster and Keith David in Community, Colin Baker and Peter Capaldi in Doctor Who.
But also, Colin Baker and Peter Capaldi was sort of a different sort of situation.
Well, they were guest characters who came and then became the Doctor in completely different roles. Karen Gillan as well was a side character who came.
Peter Capaldi.
Yes, originally yes. Same with Patrick Bruce and Keith David. They were originally different characters, and now they're coming in season 6 as completely different characters as they were in seasons. I think 3 is when they both appeared, or something like that.
Along with Jason Mantzoukas.
Along with Jason Mantzoukas.
The Battle of Good and Evil.
I think that might be one. In the League, Jason Mantzoukas, I think, was just a guest character and became a recurring character to the point where he got his own starring episodes. I don't think he was originally supposed to be a recurring character.
That makes sense, totally.
So it's it is I don't know. I think that is sort of
like the core message here is that, I mean, yes, you can plot a series, but if it goes on beyond what you're plotted, then really the characters you have and the stories you've told with those characters are going to tell you where to go from there.
Right. They're going to tell you to kill the mother. Spoilers.
Yeah, because that made sense.
Mex says, I think Fresh Off the Boat is doing the inverse and focusing away from the main kid, which is a good move in my opinion. It's an interesting move. It depends. I think they're probably focusing away because they don't know how long they're going to keep the kid. Depending, they might lose the kid, they might get a different kid or whatever. I don't know.
It's also just based on a guy's life.
Yeah, I thought that was actually the strongest thing they did as far as serialized storytelling in How I Met Your Mother, because How I Met Your Mother could have easily become the Barney Stinson show, but the fact that it's narrated by Ted means you really can't do that.
Yeah,
you can't make it the Barney show because, like, hey kids, here's the story of How I Met Your Mother. So here's the chick Barney was banging this week, which he does do sometimes, and it's kind of awkward, but. Yeah, it's
kind of awkward, but also it sort of makes sense for that story.
Yeah, kind of sometimes.
Bob Saget's like, am I a bad dad?
Yeah. Also, why does Bob Saget play adult Ted for most of the show and then not at the very, very end? Like,
which would have been hilarious.
If you're not gonna have Bob Saget play him at the end, then why'd you have Bob Saget play him the whole time? It just doesn't make sense. Also, who is the narrator of A to Z? Why, like, is she just some random person? Who's telling the story?
Who was Katie Sagal?
Who was she?
Why am I not going to get closure to that show?
She's just telling a story. What story is she telling? Like, is she just telling somebody's story?
Of Andrew and Zelda's relationship.
Right, but is she Andrew and Zelda's daughter from the future? Is she Andrew's mother? Like, who is she? Who is telling this story?
Future Kristen Milioti?
Is she? I don't know.
Does Kristen Milioti become Katie Sagal?
So is it Bob Saget and Katie Sagal? Is that the if she didn't die, How I Met Your Mother? Because, by the way, I would watch that show. Bob Saget, Katie Sagal, David Henry, and Lindsay Fonseca.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great show.
Although Lindsay Fonseca is also all grown up now.
So is David Henry.
Yeah. But also, Lindsay Fonseca is all grown up now.
Yeah.
She was an Agent Carter. That was really good.
She was. She played maybe Maria Hill's aunt? Question mark. Hopefully. Cross
And
fingers
this,
crossed.
kids, is how I
Yeah. So. Oh boy. Yes, Mech, the kid represents the guy who wrote the book, which is similar with Everybody Hates Chris, where they have Chris Rock narrate, and it's about Chris Rock and Chris Rock's family. They've done it with lots of the Goldbergs as well. Is that kind of thing? It's a newer trope in TV and film where they'll just be like, hey, here is a person telling stories about when they were a kid, and it's basically the Wonder Years is what it is.
Yeah. My sister really likes it because she really likes Everybody Hates Chris, and my mom really likes it because she's like, oh, that's me. And I'm like, who, the kid? She's like, no, the mom. And I'm like, are you sure you want to be proud of that?
And I was like, boy, these accents are really bad.
Parks?
What?
Like Randall Park's
Yeah,
accent?
Randall Park's accent. I'm like that. Like everyone's speaking too good of English.
That is a fake accent.
To have just like to be fresh off the boat.
And I think that might be sort of the gag there, where they are American. They've been living in America for a long time, but also they're Asian, and it's the 90s.
Yeah, I don't think it matters how long you've been in America, unless you moved when you were a little like us. My parents still have accents, and I'm sure your parents still have accents. So
America.
That's
America.
It's not how it goes, usually. I completely believe the kids sounding American. They should sound American. The parents should not. And their accents are weak sauce. I assume it's just so you can understand it. That, by the way, accents is something that happens in Heroes, especially, and also in, I'm sure in The Big Bang Theory. I don't watch it very much, but accent...
he's still doing the accent.
Well, no, he was still doing the accent in Heroes as well. But and this is very, very apparent in like between the first and last episodes of the season, because the Mohinder character does the same narration between the two episodes. In episode 1, he's affecting an Indian accent. In the last episode of the season, he's affecting more of a British accent. Also, the actor is American. So, like,
so is it terrible?
Neither accent is very good, but it's weird because it's the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, the way we started this accent didn't really sound the way we wanted it to be. It's the thing that happens very often in animation as well, where especially like, if you watch the Tracy Ullman years of The Simpsons, if you watch the first 3 seasons of The Simpsons, they sound very different to what they sound like now. Family Guy as well.
Part of that is the character changing, but also part of that is the acting differently.
Yeah, well, growing into the voice, changing the voice with the character,
like changing the voice to suit that character. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, you're always developing the voice, and it happens in regular sitcoms too. Where a lot of the times, depending on what their experience with sitcoms is, a lot of the times they will be a lot more muted, especially if they're like film actors coming into television or something like that. They won't be as reactive as they could be. So when you or like dramatic actors, going in sitcoms, they'll be a lot less expressive. Where
that's dependent on their theatrical training, sure.
Right. Where as you move on to sitcoms, and especially if they're theater actors, you don't really do as much with the face as a theater actor, because nobody can see your face.
Because you're not that close, you've got a massive light shining on you, so your facial features are distorted anyway. That's why you have the makeup. It's just
right. Whereas on a sitcom, you're gonna get a one shot of your face, and you need to be like, so it's a thing that in 30 Rock, especially Alec Baldwin, Tracy Morgan, and Tina Fey were doing it properly because that is what they had done on Saturday Night Live. Tina Fey and Tracy Morgan obviously for a few years. Alec Baldwin as a host,
a full season of his own.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's the kind of thing where they knew how to express a little more than somebody like the guy who plays Toofer or the guy who plays Frank, whose names I am forgetting right now. Because Frank's actor was a stand-up comedian. Twofer's actor was just an actor. Like he was, I think, a dramatic actor for a lot of stuff, and then like was doing this as I need a gig.
Pretty much.
And it worked out for him, obviously. But when you have those kinds of guys, they're not going to be as expressive because they're not used to being one-shot cameras, or they're used to being like, hey, this is a toned-down performance. Like it's supposed to be a realistic thing, as opposed to Liz Lemon basically playing Kathy running a TV show.
Yeah. And that's also sort of lampshaded in that episode of 30 Rock where they all go into the hyper-realistic camera.
Oh, yeah. But I feel
Lieutenant's
like
just a Muppet.
I also feel like at some point Liz Lemon says "ack."
No, it's like nerds.
I understand, but I feel like at some point she goes "ack."
Nerds.
Why can't I get a man?
Because frickin' James Marsden is off saving the world with his laser beams.
Or stealing Superman's girl.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
Watched Enchanted twice to get all the details right, and then 3 more times because that movie is perfect.
He was in that movie, right?
James Marsden, yeah.
Okay, I was making sure. And
Man, now I want Adam Scott to take me around the town in that carriage, while dressed like that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Stretch goal.
Stretch goal. Gatowag says my life is potato, and we have potato accents. I don't know what's going on.
Apparently, this is what potatoes sound like? Question mark.
Sure, why not? I thought potatoes sounded like this. It was
How many
the worst
potatoes
Irish
does it take to
I've
kill an
ever
Irishman?
Irish. Northern Ireland. Hello, I'm Liam Neeson. You've taken my
United Kingdom, Great Britain, Northern Ireland. Oh, that was all over the place and did not sound like an accent at all.
No, it sounds like you're having a stroke.
Am I mech?
I have a very particular set of skills. So yes.
I am the knight. I'm Batman.
On the question. 9/11 is an inside job.
Fluoride doesn't really cure your teeth. It just makes it visible to spy satellites.
So
Magic bullet.
Magic bullet. It's funny because you just said magic bullet, so I thought of the blender.
Yes, I have several of those in my house, but only to prove the connection.
Yeah.
But the question is why.
Gosh, I don't think we have anything more to talk about, but we're only at like
We're
45
just doing
minutes.
silly character voices?
Yeah, we're only at like 45 minutes of show. But it can still be. Gatorade says, "Where's my daughter?" We'll do a Christopher Walken impression in the after show, mech. I think we should just wrap this up. Unless you have something else to say about the character progression stuff.
I mean, character voices could be a big part of it too, especially if the actor is like, "Hey, I can do this character voice," and then partway through they're like, "Oh wait, I can't."
Said Misha Collins.
Yeah.
That's a story.
Yeah, where Cass has a very deep affectation, and it's I don't sound like that.
Misha
I
Collins
can't do
sounds
that.
basically like this, and he went into the audition like, "Dean, this is me. It's Cass.
I'm playing a demon, right?
I think I just did Dean there. I'm Dean. I drive.
Dean.
Dean.
I'm Jason Todd.
It's me, Cass. Hi, Dean. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. But yeah, it is sort of an interesting character voice thing. But I had a thought and I lost it. Oh, well, a lot of things that tend to happen is like we were saying earlier, where you blow at character. Blown perspective of characters. A lot of what will happen is people will say, online or whatever, it'll be like, oh, here is what this character is, and that becomes the perception of a character, and sometimes that bleeds into the writing as well. Like, oh,
Yeah.
Batman is this always prepared guy, and I am the knight, and all that stuff, and so that is the perceived character, and
I'm Batman. I am the knight.
you take the perceived character, and that is, people want to buy the perceived character. So they buy the perceived character. So you sell, when you make a Batman cartoon or a Batman movie or whatever, or a Batman comic, that Batman isn't quite the Batman that he was 10, 15 years ago, but he is the Batman that's in the public consciousnness. Art imitates life, imitates art.
Yeah.
Art inspires life,
And,
inspires
like,
art.
You can see some of that too. Like I read Arkham Asylum, Serious House on Serious Earth a couple of weeks ago, and Batman's speech bubbles there were just all blacked out because he talks like this or something like that. I'm Batman. Stop.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you'll
The question also has weird speech bubbles, and that's because he talks like this. This is totally different voice, guys. So yeah, character voices it influences and it's affected by public image, but also in like visual media, like Watchmen, like Arkham Asylum,
and
novels like that.
And different forms of visual media, like Blu-rays, DVDs, laser discs.
I love laser discs.
They're great. Hold on, where's my? I don't have a hockey jersey. I left it downstairs.
It is downstairs, and I'm glad.
Yes.
Bane
And
voice.
Also, when you talk about character voice, you have to talk about Bane. They said there'd only be a few Batmen. So we're gonna end this show on a. We're gonna quit while we're behind.
My name is Theodore Cord. For
If for
5
some
years,
reason you want to pay us money, which I don't know why you would, go to
but apparently
patreon.com.
50 cents worth of people think we are. So
Yes, 50 cents. Patreon.com/RealViewMirror is where you can donate some cash. www.realviewmirror.com is where you can go to view all previous episodes and future episodes of this show.
you can also dig around YouTube to find some of the pre-recorded episodes. Too.
Yes, which will be on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/SSJKuhan. You can follow us on Twitter at RVMirror or find us individually on Twitter. I am at Kuhan. Joe is at Professor What because Professor Where because Professor What was taken.
No,
God
other
dang
way.
it!
Other way.
always-
I am at Professor Where on Twitter because Professor What was taken, but I'm Professor What basically everywhere else, like Tumblr. Life's great. That's
Yes.
great.
Check out our BBpedia pages. Our DCTVpedia pages. I still call it the BBpedia because that's what it is to me.
That's trivia. It's on
that
the
is
trivia
trivia.
page.
It is on my trivia. Check out our check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/RealViewMirror. I'm also going to Facebook.com. I am Kuhan to find my Facebook page and my fan page, my Facebook fan page.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah, realviewmirror.tumblr.com is also a place you can go to find stuff. Or go to IamKuhan.com and find all my stuff. And at the very, very bottom, you can find all of my links down there as well, and these shows as well. Mech is trying to fund his podcast, True Scene Reflection.
So definitely check that out at patreon.com/TrueSceneReflection. It's a great show, guys. Definitely check that out.
It's very much not real. That's gonna do it, I think, for this edition of the Real View Mirror podcast. We'd like to apologize if you listened to the whole way through, because it wasn't very good. Listen. We'll be better next time. I promise.
You promise.
I
That's a
promise.
tall order, Kuhan.
I don't think it's hard. I don't think it's very hard to be better than this episode. My parents are
This
coming in
episode
town
was
soon.
great.
and
I think
have
we're
to get the
finally
house
starting to get an identity. I think are we out of season 1 yet? Do I need to do a character voice?
I think we're out. I think we definitely have more episodes than the previous iteration of this show. So technically, this is season
this
3
is
in
like
the first place.
36th episode or something.
Yes, that's true. We found our voice during that month. That's gonna do it for this edition of the Real View Mirror podcast. Please join us next time. Assuming there is a next time, which there will be. And and also
It doesn't get
thanks
canceled by
to
DiamondClub.tv.
Thanks to our live viewers at DiamondClub.tv. We were streamed live there. Some people put up with us on DiamondClub.tv, and follow us again on our Twitter to know when we're going to go live. Whenever we do go live. and the site will probably post there as well. Gatorwax says that's our motto. We'll do better next time. So
until that next time.
Until that next time, watch stuff. Watch more things. Listen to things. Consume more media. Consume more media. Play more board games. I don't know. Disseminate this
That
podcast.
might be happening next time. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Oh boy. Oh golly, you devil. All right.
That was fun.
Now I'm gonna do my Christopher Walken impression. You gotta have more cowbell. And now I'm gonna do Christopher Walken Bane. You were born. I was born in the darkness. You fucking. I don't even know. You say potato. I say potato.
Potato, hot potato. Potato.
I'm doing the burial bombs in the middle of everything, which is not Christopher Walken
This is
at
not
all.
how Bean breathes?
No, it's not how Christopher Walken talks. Christopher Walken doesn't do the hello, it's me, burial bombs. I am sometimes maybe the president and sometimes not. I'm burial bombs, and I approve this message.
Okay, so my audio.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am the motherfucking president. Okay, cool. I would stick around for more post show like I normally do, but I really need to clean the house because my parents will be home in my parents will be here in like an hour, and we're kind of messy. So
yeah, we'll do better next time.
We'll do better next time. We'll be around for longer post show next time because post show is usually more fun than pre show and show. Maybe that should just be the show. We should do a comedy show. Hey, if anybody wants to produce our new comedy show,
hit us up. Something might actually happen.
Yes, we're trying to set up a variety show. We are just having trouble with the problem is that we need a producer, and we don't have one of those things. So if somebody would like to produce a weekly or bi-weekly
weekly question mark
variety show, maybe even monthly, who knows? We'll see what happens.
I feel like monthly would fit the format better.
It might, yeah. If somebody wants to produce a variety show, hit us up. You can. Oh, I forgot to plug our email. Whatever. Email realvmirror@gmail.com or tweet us rvmirror, let us know that you would be interested in doing that thing. Because we would love. We need somebody to help us do that, and we are not those people.
We're looking for a Nathan Lane or Matthew Broderick type. If you think you've got something special, hit us up.
I'm looking for a Brent Hughes type, really.
Brent Hughes is wonderful.
Yeah, no. Gatorwax great. Hey, Brent, you wanna produce our show while also working for Brian?
Producing everything else.
Yeah. It's a great idea. It's great. It's great. It's great.
Nothing can possibly go wrong here.
Yeah. So, thanks for joining us for this. Boy. Next time.
That was a thing.
God damn it, Mac. Mac, you should definitely donate to the Patreon. That patreon.com/realvmirror.
You too could be a member of the secret club.
Of the Real V Mirror Secret Club. And we do have Patreon exclusive content coming out soon. Fully ready to release. We just have not yet released it. So
yeah, why haven't you?
I need to release the non-Patreon exclusive content as well.
Yeah, how's editing on the previous episode?
Yeah, I forgot to mention at the top of this that I had another hiccup with that, and I need to fix that. Where did my tablet go? Oh, I tossed it over there. That's what happened. Because I was not going to use it anymore. All right. Well,
Gatorwag does get the money together. He does produce silly things, like put us on the channel.
Is executive producer executive producer is not your secret club, and that was changed. Apparently, Joe changed things and did not tell me. I had no idea that our stuff had changed. Like kidnapping, because this is not what it was yesterday. Fantastic.
So now the stretch goals say Real View Live at 20 per episode. Yeah, that's totally not what you're looking at right now. Real View Live weekly at 50. Kidnapping Brian Brushwood at 100. Admiralty at 200. It's a Job. The rest of that's the same. But
Same.
actual
But, like, 25 cents is now
ranks. 25 cents is now Secret Club.
Yep. Sorry.
$1.50 is Writer's Room. And $3 is producer ?
Yes. So technically, Brant, you are no longer an executive producer at 25 cents per episode. You need to be paying $3 to be producer.
Well, the original tier said you're the boss.
Apparently, there's a police helicopter doing laps around Brian's house.
Huh.
And now he's got a shotgun by his side. Thanks, Brian.
Texas has Buck.
Thanks for not watching our show, Brian, and not having any idea that we're talking to you.
I sleep with a weapon by my bed. I live in California.
All right, I'm going to now play some music to take us out. Hopefully.
Is the lullaby?
If I can.
Please tell me it's a lullaby.
Hold on, I think I have that.
Are you actually going to play that?
Why not? If I have it.
Buckshot. Fat pellets. Man, Brian's such a badass.
I have Lullaby by Alex Albrecht.
Do it.
I also have Lullaby by Nickelback, apparently.
It's great. Wonderful.
Can you hear it?
We were going to get Brian if the revenue reaches $100. So please, if you want to do that, then.
Oh, you can't do this. Oh, come on, Crackle again? Son of a bitch.
Writer's Room and producer credits. So that's definitely a fun thing. If you want to check that out, feel more than welcome to do so at patreon.com/RealViewMirror, while Kuhan is trying to play us out with Crackle.
Eerie Shim Crackle?
Eerie Shim Crackle. Snap, crackle, pop.
Crackle's a turret, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure. All right, now I'll play it without Crackle.
Answers are wrong. Maybe I should just stop the song.
We should get actual ending theme music. That'd be great. That could be a stretch goal.
A train I can't get off. I need to be stronger, but I'm soft. But someday when I die, I'll be over, starting over. I want to try if it's just over, if it's just over. I should just close my eyes.
tired and weak from my disguise. I try to become with all I am. I know I tried hard until the end. Yeah.
Kill that. And I will just
One last thing.
One last thing.
Very last
I'm
thing.
going to say. Oh, come on! Here we go. Jesus Christ.
He swears as he tries to get the file open.
It's the worst. This is the worst. We're the best show of all time. Okay.
Go to your room and figure it out, widgets.
Die in a fire?
I'm
Question
not
mark?
with you. See you next Friday?
Question mark? This isn't even the right. Come on. Gosh dang it, Google Drive on the phone.
On the phone, on the phone, on the phone.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
There we go. All right, that happened. Bye.